This is not financial advice, not legal advice for entertainment, educational purposes only. Anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos. Listen, the SEC is like the Keystone Cops, okay? They allow all the fraud and corruption to go on in the United States stock market under their watch, and they do absolutely nothing about it, okay? You look at the data in AMC, GME, GNS, MMTLP, MULN, and you see the obvious fraud and corruption. The CAT system exposing the fraud and corruption. Yet somehow the SEC never finds anything that requires an investigation. Now, we know one of the reasons why. They are incompetent. They are incompetent. They had an attorney working at the SEC from 2008 to 2024 who did not have a license to be an attorney. And every year he would just certify and submit false data to the SEC that he was in good standing as an attorney when he was not. And not one person verified that information. That is the same thing that happens when these criminals say they are long on a stock when everybody knows they're short, and the SEC does nothing about it. They never investigate it. They take these criminal naked shorters at their word. And the market makers and the hedge funds, they say, oh, we are shorting now because it is exempt. It is an exempt short position for market liquidity. Even though they're just shorting the stock because they can, because they are short on the stock and they want to rob and steal from retail investors, pension funds, and institutions that follow the rules, the SEC does absolutely nothing. Think about how inept they have to be to hire somebody as an attorney for the SEC, and when they hired him, he did not have an attorney's license. According to the Inspector General, his attorney license was revoked in 2004. He didn't start working with the SEC until 2008. And from 2008 to 2024, he would put, yes, I'm attorney. He would submit paperwork that was doctored to show he was in good standing when he wasn't. And not one person in the SEC verified that he was an attorney. How can we expect them to police the bad actors in the United States stock market if they can't even police themselves? And it's not even policing. I'm talking about the minimum investigation. You say you're an attorney, you're admitted to practice in New York State. A simple Google search on the New York State attorney website would let you know if this person was an attorney or not. They didn't even do the minimum investigation. And that is what they do when it comes to the naked shorting going on with AMC, GME, MMTLP, MULN, NWBO, GNS. They do absolutely nothing. They sit on the sidelines and practice willful blindness while all the fraud and corruption in the market goes on their watch. How can they tell us that they protect the market, that they protect retail investors, when they can't even protect themselves? I mean, this has to be an embarrassment for the SEC. They hired somebody who was not an attorney, and he worked there from 2008 to 2024, and they're not releasing his name, which leads me to believe that maybe he might be tied to somebody very, very important. Because why wouldn't they tell us his name? Why wouldn't they tell us his name? I mean, that's a whole other story about how politically connected this fake attorney was, okay? That they're not even releasing his name. If it was anybody else, somebody who was unimportant, their name probably would have been released. But the name has not been released. If anybody knows that name, please leave it in the comments. Okay, please leave it in the comments. But it's absolutely crazy that somebody who had no license as an attorney was hired by the SEC in 2008 as an attorney, and from 2008 to 2024, he kept working as an attorney and recertifying that he was an attorney with fake paperwork, the same fake paperwork that these criminals send to SEC when they mark shorts as longs and all kind of other shenanigans in order to rob and steal from retail investors, pension funds, and institutions that follow the rules. Anyway, please leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Do you think the SEC does any investigations whatsoever if a fake attorney could work for them from 2008 to 2024? Anyway, have a great day. God bless, and I appreciate y'all on this journey with me.